Welcome, everyone, to the Women Are Worthy Network. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel. Again, the Women Are Worthy Network. So, today we have a wonderful guest. We have Miss Sophia Stewart. She is the creator of The Matrix and The Terminator. So, we want to welcome Miss Sophia Stewart. Hello,
No, it's
Sophia.
not. It's not Miss at all. Throw that out the window.
What is Mrs.?
Sophia Stewart. No, I'm not using Mrs. Even though I'm married, but it's Sophia Stewart, and that's what people need to address me as, Sophia Stewart. That's what I prefer. Creator and owner of the Matrix and Terminator.
Okay. Sophia
Yeah,
Stewart,
Mrs.
creator
for
and
yeah,
owner of The Matrix.
yes, and
So,
Terminator.
okay, and Terminator. Can you please tell us a little bit about yourself? For those who don't know who you are, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I'm Sophia Stewart. I'm from New York City. I created the Matrix and Terminator by copyrighted script and book in the 80s while I was at USC Film School. I have a degree in journalism, a double major in law and psychology. A producer, I'm an attorney, I'm a screenwriter, an author of several books on Matrix and Terminator, and an entrepreneur.
What led you to come up with the concept of the Matrix?
I saw that there were no black science fictions or black leadership role, and I was at that time in 1980. I was engaged to marry Muhammad Ali, and he was a living black superhero on the earth. And I thought, well, why not use him as a role model to create black leadership roles in the first black science fiction ever? And they talked about me in the Los Angeles Sentinel in 1981 that Sophia Stewart, myself, was going to come out with a first black science fiction with black leadership roles that would inspire our kids to become anything they wanted to be, including President of the United States. And the late Julian Bonds, he congratulated me on that. He had read the article, and many people, NAACP, they gave me the Rosa Parks Award. The Women's of Wealth gave me an Encouragement Award or Courage Award, and Las Vegas Music, they gave me an award also. So many people came and gave me awards for what I had accomplished.
Well, I reached out because I wanted to talk to you because I saw the last Matrix and I wanted to talk to you not about the film because I interviewed you before and you just opened up. I'm going to be honest with you. You opened up my third eye. Okay, you opened up my third eye, and I want to share something with everyone. When I first interviewed Sophia, I remember her telling me I was on a BlackBerry at the time. So let me share something with you. We were using Blackberries at the time. iPhone wasn't out. And I remember her telling me that we're going to have phones that we can actually look into what we know is FaceTime now. And I couldn't wrap my brain around it. And I'm going to be honest with you, Sophia. When you told me that, I now can understand what Will Smith said when he made mention that when they told him about the Matrix, he couldn't wrap his brain around the concept. That's exactly how I felt when you were telling me about the phone. Because I'm looking when you were talking to me on my BlackBerry, and I'm like, what is she talking about? That's not going to be possible. Little did I know, because you were light years ahead of us. Okay, so I wanted to share that tidbit, and there have been other things that she told me that has come to pass. So this is not a fly by night for any skeptics that's on this. I mean, everything that she told me has actually come to pass. And I think we had a conversation about 5Gs, if I'm not mistaken. We had a conversation about that, and so I wanted to, because I had questions from people. People sent me some questions, like, "How did you know about this? Like, how did you know this was going to happen?"
Well, if you look at my work, The Matrix and The Terminator, it's work that's 100 years ahead. I'm a visionary, a prodigy. A prodigy is someone that's well versed in math, like they know many maths, and I can crack the codes on systems and extract knowledge. So I'm like a seer, a visionary seer. My grandmother was a shaman, Cherokee, a healer. And so I have this natural gift of sight to see what's coming. And the Matrix is talking about a virtual world, which they're calling the metaverse now, but it's the Matrix world. And I can prove that because I had it copywritten, the Matrix attraction, which reveals the virtual reality, virtual skateboards, virtual jails, virtual businesses, and all this. I was talking about this many, many years ago, even before the iPhone and the iPad came out. I was talking about streaming and where it's all going to go, all of this stuff, because people can go back and listen to my interviews. They go all the way back to 2001. And
Well, I can attest to that because I remembered, and I didn't want to mention that. I wanted you to mention it. We talked about the jails. We talked about the iPhone, the iPads. I remember everything. So, being the fact that you're a visionary, which is so great, I still remember that interview. Can you talk about the connection with John Connor, JC, and Neo?
oh, yes, the Terminator is the prequels or the beginning of the epic story. So JC, John Connor's Jesus Christ, grows up to be Neo, one and the same in the Matrix. And the Matrix is a 7,000-year-old Latin word for the woman's womb, her stargate, her portal to bring babies into this earthly dimension, into this physical world. And the Terminator is the beginning of that epic story because in the future, the machines are hearing the oracle's prophecy that a baby is going to be born that's going to destroy them. And they know this child is destined, the mother that's destined of this child is going to be Sarah Connor. So it's like past, present, and future time travel, where the machines know that they have to time travel into the past to kill Sarah Connor. So John Connors will not be born. And John Connor is destined to be the rebel or the leader of the rebellion or the revolution or the evolutions that's coming in the fourth installment.
I am going to put this on record right now. I am so disappointed in the last Matrix. Disappointed. Because
That
from
wasn't the
speaking,
Matrix. That was not the Matrix at all. That was garbage. And they kept referencing the 1999 Matrix, which is my work, which won 4 Oscars. That's all they kept referencing during the whole movie. And it was talking about the Matrix, not the Matrix, but talking about the beginning of the Matrix. You see what I'm talking about? But it wasn't the
yes.
Matrix. It wasn't the fourth installment. It had nothing to do with any of the Matrix at all.
Well, you could tell because
Total garbage.
if you read your book and and you watch the other movies and then you watch this, it's totally different. Totally different. And then when I figured Lawrence Fishburne wasn't in it and all the others, this is again my opinion. My opinion was that they didn't feel that this was the original or had any connection to the book that you wrote. You know what I'm saying? That's my
You talking
feeling.
about
That
this?
may not be it, but that's
You
how
talking
I
about this
felt.
fourth installment? You talking about this
Yes.
Matrix Four? It had nothing to do with anything. It had nothing
Mhm.
to do with anything except to make money off of you guys. All they were trying to do was cheat you guys out of money to get some money, and they thought if they used the word Matrix that was going to do the trick because they swindled some of the investors out of $160 million or maybe 165 million when they know they couldn't even write the Matrix at all. It is futuristic work. There's no way that they can articulate it. There's no way they can continue my work because I'm the creator and owner. So it was just a ploy to get money out of the people, which was a dirty trick.
Can we go into would you like I would like to, but again, you're the guest, so I have to see how you feel. I would like to get to the beginning when you wrote the book and how your information was taken away, plagiarized, and put on when you found out about that, and how did you find out about that?
I went to the movies March the 31st, 1999 at the national release, and I see my work on the screen, and I know I did not sell it to anybody. So I called up the legal department because I'm like at that time, I was well versed in law, paralegal. I worked for a law firm of 50 attorneys in California while I was at USC. So I contacted the legal department at Warner Brothers, and they offered me $5 million for my copyrights, which are worth billions of dollars. And I told them no, that I wasn't going to sell my copyrights. Even Schwarzenegger himself offered me $5 million for the Terminator copyrights, and I said no. So, me seeing my work on the screen was a shocker and a surprise. I went to the FBI because I come from a military law enforcement family. So I'm well versed in what law enforcement is about in military. So I contacted the FBI, and they went out and they did their, work and so forth and bringing forth evidence. But when it came to the U.S. Attorney's Office to prosecute, Elizabeth Ann Stephen and Greg Diamond refused to prosecute. They got paid off not to prosecute these people, and they've been running amok with my copyrighted work ever since, because all they did was adapt my book and my script to the screen, which is easy because that's what they did with Lords of the Ring book, Lords of the Ring movie, the Gravity book, the Gravity movie, the Maze book, the Maze movie. Hollywood adapt people's work to the screen. They don't create. If they could create, they wouldn't be stealing.
Just give me a second, because when you hear the story, you're like, wait a minute, not in disbelief, but you're like, this is ridiculous. And also, you didn't accept the money where most people, because you know your worth, you knew your worth. You chose not to take the $5 or the $10 million, total 10, maybe whatever $1 million, by saying, no, I know it's worth more because you did your homework. You know how much those movies grossed in the billions, and they were willing to offer you a pittance. What made you stand firm? Because, and I want you to talk about that, because there's so many people, whether they're writers, whether they're musicians, their work is stolen, plagiarized, and they feel like they can't stand up against Goliath.
Well, my work was counterfeited because I had copyrights. Plagiarism is totally different from counterfeiting. Counterfeiting is when somebody owns it and they know that I own it by copyrights, and they counterfeited the work. So they know they committed a criminal act. And how did I feel? I did not want to sell my work. I had never had no intentions of selling it. When I first put it out, the 20th Century Fox looking for George Lucas, the director. I wanted him to direct my work. I wasn't shopping my work. All these lies and innuendos and troll information is on the internet. It's all a bunch of garbage. It's a bunch of lies. I wasn't shopping my work. I wasn't in those 70s, unemployed and all that. There's just a bunch of lies. I was in the 80s at USC, had already a degree and everything. Went to school with Marcus Allen and Ronnie Lott, those former pro football players, James Sinclair, August Curley, Dennis Johnson, and Charles White was on his way out when I was coming in. So these are all very well-known and famous people, and they were my classmates at that time. And I was engaged to marry Muhammad Ali, and I thought that a Black leadership movie, a science fiction with Black leadership, would be superb. That's why Lawrence Fishburne, Morpheus' character, it was so very important, because 2 and 3, they tried to whitewash it. When you look at the 1999 Matrix, it's Black people in leadership role, Black people at the rave party, Black people all through it. It is not white science fiction. White science fiction is Superman, Batman, Iron Man, Spider-Man, and Rocky saving the world. The white man is the good guy. He's a hero. He is not like the bad guys, like the agents in the Matrix. And you see all these Black people in leadership role, the first time ever. And that's how I got that Rosa Parks Award from the NAACP, how I got invited to Jesse Jackson's events, his private birthday party in Beverly Hills, his Katrina event here in Vegas, because all of them were recognizing that I've given the world something totally different. The first Black science fiction with Black leadership role to show that we participate in this world also.
It was, let me tell you, when I first saw the Matrix was almost like, back for me, how the younger generation, Black Panther is for them. That's how it was for me, because I just loved Morpheus. He was the leader. He directed people. Then we had Niobe, whatever Jada Pickett Smith role was. I love that because she was a captain. When you think about it now, you definitely played a role because you knew where you wanted to put these people in what roles. Because I'm telling you, I know when I tell you, I know the whole dialogue from the Matrix One. I know it, and it was so important to me that when they act in the Matrix Two, when they went to go see if they can go back and get Neo and Morpheus, and Jada Pickett stood up and she said she would go. I just love that part, because here we have a Black woman going back to save people, to save Morpheus and everyone else. You're not saving them, to go back and to help, to assist. So now when you, and I'm telling you, when you told me about Jesus Christ, John Connor, and when you first told me, I'm telling you, you had me tripping. So, because it also invokes spirituality. You know what I'm saying? And you just brought everything together. When I tell you, you opened up my third eye, you opened up my third eye. What can Hollywood do now to make this right? Because that was a horrible trash of a movie. How can you be made whole?
Hollywood needs to tell people the truth and honor the first Matrix. It won 4 Oscars. Those Oscars belong to me because the work was stolen. Those are my Oscars. I went to the Oscars in 2020 on the red carpet. All the media knew about me, except for the common people. Hollywood needs to make this right and honor the first Black science fiction. It's not Black Panther, because Black Panther is the African people's hero. That's all about Africa and Wakanda and the African people. Matrix is the first Black superheroes in leadership roles. And if you go and you look at it, everybody needs to go back and look at 1999. Forget about 2 and 3. I made that garbage into a dream. So the fourth installment is Evolution, and it shows the new machines that are on the horizon. Keanu Reeves, his father is Asian Polynesian.
Mm-hmm.
Polynesian, not he's not white. There's a lot of people in there. Carrie Ann Moss is Canadian. So people need to acknowledge the truth and stop these lies, because these lies are not going anywhere. They need to recognize, and people need to recognize, that this was the first time that Black leadership role was expressed in any film back in 1999. That would be the right thing to do.
What, you have a book out? What is the book? Could you tell us the premise of the book that you have out?
I have like 4 books on the Matrix and Terminator. The first book is The Third Eye, Matrix and Terminator. Matrix meaning the womb, the third eye meaning the eye of God, because on earth we have 2 eyes. And the second book is the Mother of the Matrix book, because it's telling you what happened and how the work was counterfeited and so forth. And then my third book is Matrix 4, which has been out for 11 years. This year would be the 12th year, ever since 2010, selling globally around the world. It's on Amazon. It's at Barnes and Noble, Walmart on demand, Madu bookstore in Atlanta, where you can walk into that store and get the physical books. And of course, my website, truthaboutmatrix.com or matrixterminator.com. They need to get the book. And my 4th book is called Matrix Trivia, because it's telling you about all the trivia that's in the movies and the books and what it all means. So this needs to be made right by the people, and they need to stop lying to the people, and the people need to stop being confused about all these lies and set the history book straight. Because Andy and Larry Wachowski's name has never been on anything. They've never written a script. Their name is not on any book. Their name is not on any trademark or any copyrights or any ownership of anything. They're not nothing but cross dressers. They're not homosexuals. They're not transsexuals. They're nothing but liars and thieves and crash dummies.
Okay, I have a
People
question
need to know
because
the truth that they can't even write. This fourth installment shows the fraud.
this just popped in my head. We had a conversation years ago, and we have to use the word cocoa. We can't use any other words because I'll get shadow banned, and we want people to watch this. You talked about the virus, and I remember we had to hang up because you had another phone call, and you were talking about a virus was going to happen, was going to happen in the future. And this was, I think you and I spoke in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken, early 2000 maybe. So here's my question to you. It was in the 90s. Here's my question. Now that we have this cocoa, that we have the virus, this cocoa, was this the virus that was, or similar to this, in the Matrix?
Of course, because the Matrix is futuristic. And if you go and you read the Third Eye book again, and you go into the fourth installment, all the stuff that's going on now that they're calling metaverse, they've been reading my book. Those 4 books, people buy them and read them around the world. It's just like Tesla is a polymath. Leonardo da Vinci is a polymath. It's the same type of person I am, just like Tesla, like Leonardo da Vinci. We're like 100 years ahead. You know what I'm talking about? And we're telling what's coming in the future. And the government and all these people who are out there listening politically, they need to know about all of this. They need to know what's coming. They need to know the technology and how our world is going to be a virtual world. They need to know what 5G and 4G and all of this stuff is about. Do you see? And such a person as myself is born to tell people what's coming, to get
Okay,
them ready.
let me say this again for those of you tuning in. I want y'all to listen to me. I have no I have no stake in this. I'm here only to tell the truth. Now, what I'm going to say again, I had the conversation with Sophia in the 90s. This is before we have, I'm telling you, more things is just coming out now. She talked about the phones. Okay, I didn't pick up the phone and say, "Hey, because y'all know I keep it real here." Okay, and I'm not going to bring anyone on this show if they're not credible because I do my research. But I remembered her from the 90s, and that's not want to speak back to her. She talked about the phone. She talked about 5G. I forgot what she called it, but it was 5G. Here's another thing that she talked about. Let me tell you how you rock in my world right now, Sophia. You talked about cars will be driving and there will be no one driving the
Hey,
cars.
that's right, the
I
drones.
remember you talked about that.
That's
And
right, the
I'm like,
drones.
I looked at my phone. Yep. And I looked at my phone like, what is she talking? I'm gonna keep her. I'm like, what's she talking about? What is she talking? And then, because then I started thinking about the Jetsons, and I'm like, nah, this is not possible. So remember, if you put yourself back in the 90s, we weren't thinking about this. You were, because you were a visionary. I wasn't thinking, I'm just looking at the phone. I didn't call you crazy. I'm like, what's she talking about? What's she talking about? And now everything is clicking. When I tell you, you keep opening up my third eye. When I that pineal gland, when I keep closing it or I want it closed, you keep opening it up because it just clicked in my head that you talked about cars will be driving and no one will be driving the cars. I remember. I'm like, oh my god. And
Yeah,
look what's
because
going
the
on now.
drones will get bigger in the future. That's what I was saying, that they would get bigger. They're little right now, but in the future, there will be drone planes, drone buses, and drone trains, and drone everything. You see what I'm talking about? Not going to have any man driving anything anymore because the machines, the artificial intelligence, the AI will really rule and control our whole world, our whole existence,
And at the time, I didn't
and
know.
try to oppress man.
I didn't know what that word was. And I remember when I think Steven Spielberg created a movie called, or made a movie, directed a movie, not created, made a movie called AI. When he made that movie AI, I thought about you and I'm like, okay, with the little boy. And I'm like, no, I'm going to bring Skip in. Okay. Let me bring Skip in.
Yes.
Hey, Skip, how you doing?
I'm well, and you?
I am, look, When I tell you Sophia's been rocking my world, she rocking my world. Now I don't need to listen to the news, what's created and all that kind of stuff. Because, Skip, her and I have had conversations where she blew my mind. And now being on, having this conversation with her again, everything is coming back. So now I'm thinking when she talked about the virus and you see it in the Matrix, and now we have the Coco, and I'm like, wow. So, Skip, what would you like to say?
Well, I've known Sophia for about 20 years. I work for her or with her. I've had a chance to pick her brain and get educated by her for a long time. The What she has done is, as you say, opened up a whole new area of thought for us. She has absolutely changed the way movies are made and the way we view them around the world, not just here. The persons who pilfered her work had no clue of what they did or what they
What they
had,
stole. What they
what they stole.
stole. Yes.
They killed off all of the main characters because they couldn't go any further. They had no idea what to do. So
Exactly.
this last movie, well, this last project, we're not even going to call it a movie. It was
Yeah,
pathetic.
please, yeah.
This thing that they did was a regurgitation of John Wick. It was
Yes.
not the Matrix, not even in the wildest dreams. When I first saw the Matrix, I was blown away just like everybody else.
Mhm.
When I saw the second one, I thought that the original writer got sick, and they had somebody come in and fill in. When I saw the third one, I was completely disgusted.
Mhm.
Completely disgusted. So when I met Sophia, and she'll tell you, we were at an event, and there was nowhere to sit at this event except one chair next to her. So I came over and introduced myself, and she said that she introduced herself, and as Sophia Stewart. I'm the mother of the Matrix, and I said, "Really? Well, what happened to movies 2 and 3 because they really sucked?" And we started a conversation there and talked for the rest of the evening, and that's when I actually started working for her. I have a background in journalism and an extensive background in law enforcement. I'm
See,
retired now, but I work with her.
and she's credible because again, there's you can see the court documents. When I tell y'all, there's going to be some skeptics out there. What I don't understand is, and I'm going to say it, I'm going to put it out there. I don't think she would receive as much. It's not a lot skepticism if she was a white woman. Okay,
No,
or if she was or if she was a white man, she wouldn't get that, right? So,
no,
I'm gonna let's just keep it real. And to see that she's a black woman who's in sci-fi, I don't even know if there's any other women out there, black women that are in sci-fi, because you normally think about white men who are writing these things. So why can't we open and embrace that what she's saying? I mean, let's face it, she has her people, she has her crew of people, not one of them. She has her following. It's huge. But what I'm saying is, for those who are a little bit skeptical, why can't you just embrace it? Just follow what she has to say. And why is it possible? Because I posted something in a group, and they were asking me tons of questions, and I posted that. Why is it impossible? Why is it that it couldn't be her? Why is it? Because it's almost like when the news feeds you things, you follow everything. You don't do your own research. So when I first met her and we had the conversation, found the court documents, looked through the court documents, and think about this too, Skip, and I want people to hear this. She keeps saying that she is the mother of the Matrix and she's the mother of Terminator. if there was one shred of doubt if she was not telling the truth, do you not think that they would be gagging her and telling her she cannot walk around telling people that?
No, they wouldn't gag her. They would have sicked their lawyers on her, and Sophia Stewart would be sued to death. The question here is, if this is not true, and this has been, she's been on TV, in the news, on the radio, etc., over probably 4,500 interviews. If any of this was not true, why hasn't Warner Brothers come forth and said, look, here's my copyrights, we own this, she needs to go away, and sue her? That has never happened, and they have never called her a liar, ever. In the recent times, she won her case in September the 25th, 2014, in Utah. That case is never referred to.
Ever.
All they talk about is the early case in California. And that's a whole nother can of worms to open up. But there's two problems or three problems that people have with this. Number one, as I said before, the movie has changed the way you look at movies, the way the industry is conducting themselves. But you have a woman that has done this. And she's not only a woman, she's a Black woman. Most people, because of those two things, their prejudices, their limitations, have held them back from embracing what is phenomenal. So they can't get past this because of petty situations in their own minds. The Matrix, they're caught in it and cannot escape it because they believe in it and they don't want to let go. If they did, we wouldn't be talking now. She'd be beyond Oprah, etc.
I know. And you know what? Here's the thing.
That's another thing. They can't deal with the fact that Sophia Stewart is going to be, whether they like it or not, the richest woman on the face of this planet. And that's a fact. But they can't get around their own prejudices. But the court proved and agreed with everything that she has said.
But here's the thing too, Skip. But it's okay, and again, we're just it's all facts. That's what we're talking about. But it's okay for everyone to embrace J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter stuff. No, was it Harry Potter? Yeah, that's what she wrote.
Witchcraft.
Right.
3,000 to 4,000 year old witchcraft.
Oh.
Harry Potter. No joke.
Yeah. And again, that's okay. Why? Because they think the opposite of what we were just talking about. You have to be ready to accept and expand your knowledge in order to embrace what has happened. This is not conjecture. This is not something that we're talking about might happen. This already happened. And whether you like it or not, when you go to the movies now, you see the results of what Sophia Stewart did, whether you like it or not.
Let me tell you how powerful this lady, this woman is, right? I rarely do this. So I picked up the phone and I was telling this friend of mine, I said, I know Sophia Stewart. Oh my God, I know her. So he heard about her, but he didn't believe me. And I've never done that. So I've done what I'm going to tell you. I called Sophia and I said, hey, I have this friend. He doesn't believe I know you. And she's like, put him on. Skip, I didn't think she was going, I know she here, but I didn't think she was going to say that. I thought she was going to shoot me down. And she's like, put him on. And I said, can I conference you? She said, because she's very commanding, okay? Because she reduced me to a 3-year-old sometimes, okay?
And me too.
So what I did was I put him on the phone. She was talking to him. He asked her, you know what? I want to learn how to, and I'm going to say it, and she knows the correct terminology. Basically, he was into meditation and so am I in yoga. He wanted to do what some of the yogis can do, like come out of his body and like, I don't know if it's time travel, transcendental meditation or something they call it. Sophia, what's the correct terminology?
You talking about when somebody wanted to? It's astral travel.
Astral
That's
projection.
it.
Astral
Okay, that's it.
traveling. He
Astral
wanted to
travel.
use his spiritual body to astral travel to other dimensions, other places, and
So
know all about it.
so he asked her about that. So I'm like, astral travel. I put the phone down. And I'm gonna say Sophia is part of allowing me to be to know when I don't need to be around, discerning spirit. I know how to discern. If someone is not liking me or whatever the case may be, I can discern that spirit. Okay. So I put the phone down, Skip, because that's how I want to hear this. I put the phone down, but it was on speaker because I wanted to make sure. No, I put it on loud, but I wanted to make sure that, if they were done, I can, disconnect the phone. I put the phone in my office on the desk, and I heard them talking. And she's telling him what to do or how to do it or whatever. And she didn't charge anything. She was just so giving. So I'm like, oh, what they talking about? And I'm hearing certain things she's saying. Skip, I promise you. Maybe 3 weeks later, I'm in my office, Skip. I'm in my office. And I find myself coming out of my body. My father was in Jamaica. And I found myself coming out of my body. I see my father in our house in Jamaica because he goes there 6 months out of the year. I see, and I was having some little issues with my dad at the time. I saw myself looking down at myself in the office. I don't know how I got in Jamaica. I saw my father in Jamaica. I'm at my desk calling my father, and he walks by and looks at the phone and says, "I'm not picking up the phone for her." He said that. So I'm like, wait a minute. And I'm like, how did I get here? Right? So whatever it's like, I don't know if I blanked out, but I found myself coming back in my body. I picked up the phone, Skip, and I have witnesses. I picked up the phone. I called one of our neighbors and I said, go and see if my father has on a blue jean short and a white t-shirt, and ask him, did I call? Because when she went, she said he didn't, she forgot to ask him if I called, but she says, how do you know what he had on? Skip, this is before FaceTime. This is before you can look in the phone to see people. This was way before that. Okay. And then I called this other lady, and because she knows us really well, and I told her what my father did. So she's talking to him like I told her this is what he told me. So I'm telling you, this is so powerful. This woman is so powerful. She helped open up that eye, because I'm telling you, I can walk in a room. I know when someone, if they're speaking bad about me, if they don't like me, if I can tell. And people
Yeah.
want to know. And I'm telling you, I pinpoint that from when that conversation with Sophia. Okay, I'm crediting her for that. Okay,
Mm.
because it was just
Yeah,
so
because you were
powerful.
listening.
And I didn't
When
realize
I
I
was
was
teaching the
listening.
guy how to astral travel, you were listening, and it went into your subconscious mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you got the principle behind it, even though I was teaching him.
I had so I'm
It's
just
going to
telling
blow
you
your
how
mind, but I've taught a lot of people.
I'm telling you, this is so for me. I've always been, impressed by her, but just her talking to someone, and I guess my mind or subconscious was open, and I was in fear of that. And then that's because of Sophia. I found out, just listening to her teachings and the things that she does, I found out now that I'm an empath and all this kind of stuff, and other things. Sophia, how are you harnessing all this? I don't want to use the word power, these gifts. How are you? Because most people who get these gifts who don't know how to use them, sometimes they have mental issues. How are you able to harness it and still live an ordinary, extraordinary life?
It's just they're natural gifts for me. Just like you breathe, just like you smell, just like you taste. These are all natural gifts that are inside of me, and I can express them and I can utilize them, but they're like second nature to me because they are part of me. So therefore, it's nothing that I need to analyze or scare me. It scares people, but it's just a normal thing for me to write, to create. I have these gifts and I utilize these gifts and I know what these gifts are. And I can teach these gifts to many, many people, and I do.
What's your group that you have? Like, if someone wants to be a part of your tribe, what do they need to do to be a part of it? Can they contact you? Because baby, when I tell you, you are the answer, you are the answer. How can they get connected with you?
Yeah, well, all they have to do is get in touch with me on my website, my email address.
And what's your
Email
website?
me at
So
Sophia Stewart 10, the number 10 at Yahoo. And there's a phone number, a donation, matrixterminator.com. Matrixterminator.com. There's a lot of gurus out there like Tony Robbins and all them charging people thousands and thousands of dollars. Well, like I told you, this work that God has is free. And his disciples and it would take donations also about themselves,
wait,
because you're
just 1
going to
second.
get something greater.
Your email is Sophia Stewart 10 at yahoo.com. Is that what you said? Yahoo?
That's
Okay,
right.
I'm putting
Sophia
it.
Stewart 10,
Mhm.
the
Yeah,
Yeah,
number
that's
10,
exactly what it
1
is.
yeah, okay.
0
Okay.
at yahoo.com.
Yeah, your Wi-Fi is acting up. Yeah, I'm putting
Yeah,
it in the chat for
very
people to know.
simple. Sophia Stewart is going together. Yeah.
It's just amazing. So where
Yeah.
do we go from here?
It's
Where do we go from here?
easy. Go to my website, matrixterminator.com, or truth about matrix.
Your Wi-Fi is skipping. Do you see
It's
that? You see
ma-
that, Skip? Her Wi-Fi
yeah,
is
it's
skipping.
matrixterminator.com. That's one word, Matrix Terminator.
Okay, I'm putting
Or
that
the
down.
truth about Matrix.com,
Okay,
and you'll be able to contact her.
that's what we're doing. So Sophia, where are you going from here now? Like, what are you planning on doing? I mean, you have a book, several books out. What is your goal? What do you want to happen now? Not just with the movies, but I mean with your movement, with your tribe. Yeah, she has to go out and come back in. But Skip, I'm telling you, I hope I don't astros travel tonight.
You know what was interesting for me, when I first started working for Sophia, I was a bodyguard for her.
Mhm.
And we lost track of each other. Okay. And back in, I forget, about 8, 9 years ago, I went to a all-star basketball all-star deal down in Vegas. And we were going to go to some parties that night, but we had an extensive list. So we picked one and we went. And we're sitting at the table. And a few hours later, a group came in and sat at the table next to us. And I looked over, and there was Sophia Stewart. No kidding. I went over and talked to her again, and that's when we reconnected. So now I am the vice president of one of her companies, and we work on different things, contracts, etc. But she's taught me an enormous amount of things, especially of the law. Okay, for the persons who are listening, the law and justice are two different things.
Mhm.
They are not the same. And so, she's given
Yeah,
me
I'm
an
back.
education in the law,
Mm-hmm.
and it has been a heck of a ride. I'll tell you that. You're back.
Yeah, Skip
Yes,
was
I had
talking
to.
about how you guys disconnect, lost track of each other. Then you guys met up, and he's vice president of one of your companies. And so he was just giving us a background story. And like I said, everyone and anyone who has spiritual retreats, you need to be on there. You need to be a speaker. You need to be a teacher. Every single spiritual retreat that's out there. If people are seeking the truth, you need to be a part of that, because people don't understand what you're not bringing to the table. You built the doggone table. Okay. So people need to see that, because I'm telling you, you have opened up so much, because I had it in me, but I didn't know where. And I was going through, when you're confused and like with animals and stuff, and you're like, what's going on here? And then when you started bringing everything together, and because I'm telling you, when I saw the first Matrix, the second Matrix, the reason I liked it, it's just one particular part. The part when Neo flew in and saved Morpheus and the lockman. That locksmith, that's the scene. I know when I turn on the video, I know exactly where to fast forward to. That's the part I like. So it's like the action that I love of the movie, not just the action. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Yes.
what I loved. So I think you're absolutely phenomenal, Sophia Stewart. You're
Oh, well,
absolutely
thank you.
and continue. Because let me tell you something, Skip. I knew when I was getting her again on the show. Because when I tell you she spanked me the first interview, baby, she spanked me in the first interview. She reminds me of the lady who wrote. Well, the lady. Only 2 interviews I've ever done, and I felt spanked. But not in a bad way. It's like when your parents or whatever, a wise person is trying to direct you in the right way. That interview, and when I interviewed the other lady who created she's a teacher, Helen, I can't remember her last name. She's a teacher, and she's teaching people about prejudices and stuff like that. She's a white lady, and she's talking about that there should be no prejudices and racism and stuff. She spanked me. But when I tell you this, because today I made sure I'm sitting on a pillow, because I'm like, when she said, I promise you I am sitting on a pillow, I'm not lying. Because I said, if she gonna spank me, I want it to come soft.
Well, I don't mean to do that, but
No.
it's just that a lot of people, a lot of trolls on the internet, which you can ask Skip, they got so many innuendos and lies about me that it's just, I can't take the confusion. It just needs to be cleared up, and they use this Miss, and Miss is a single woman. And I've never been single. I've been married 3 times, and so not a single woman. And that's for Oprah. They call Oprah Miss Oprah because she's never been married and no kids, and she's Miss. I said, I tell people, and I said, hey, I'm the creator and the owner. I don't want to be a tagline, because I'm not Jay-Z and Diddy and Snoop and them. They got the taglines that go with their music. But you don't call the late Steve Jobs the father of Apple. You don't call Bill Gates the father of Microsoft. So you guys need to call me the creator, the founder, and owner of Matrix and Terminator. So I just want to correct things so they can stop all those innuendos and lies that are on the internet, all those troll lies.
And
That's
that's
all I'm trying to do is clear it up.
and I'm here to help, because and again, because I went in a couple of groups, and one particular group, it was just disheartening for me. But I was also, a minority in the group, and reading all the comments that was coming at me. And I did say, when J.K. Rowling wrote this book, you guys didn't, she wrote this, and even it's witchcraft, it was okay. And so I'm not understanding. And then we have Games of Thrones and stuff. I'm like, why isn't it conceivable if we built the pyramids? If we come from kings and queens, we've created so many things. So why is it impossible, or you can't fathom that this queen created, and she is, this is her vision. This is what she created. She gave birth to it, because it's like, it's a baby. You gave birth to it. And then someone goes into the delivery room and steals your baby.
Hmm.
Ooh, see, I'm getting deep, y'all. I'm getting
Yeah, exactly. Because that's exactly how it is. Someone come in and steal your baby and stuff like that. And you're the only one that can give them a birth certificate. The mother is the only one that can give them a birth certificate. That means a copyright. And that's why I take everything by copyright, because every time they try to derive something, make a derivative of something from my work, I'm going to take it by the copyrights. It is not yours. The money is not yours. You can't keep the money because you stole it and you didn't earn it. So you can't keep what you stole. And so I try to tell people, why does it hurt so badly, the truth, that I created the Matrix and Terminator and I own it? Why does that hurt so many people out there? Why does the
yeah,
truth hurt so many people?
Because you're
It doesn't
getting
make
ready
any
to
sense.
destroy their greed.
but not just the people in
Yeah,
the
but
business. Not just the people in the business. Why does it hurt people like the moviegoers? That's what I'm not understanding. I can see the people in the industry, but the
thing,
people in not in the industry, I don't understand.
Jealous.
they're just hating for no reason. They are haters and hating for no reason at all. I don't even understand it myself, because people should be looking for the truth. And I told them that once they put out the Matrix again, that everybody's going to find out the truth. Ask Skip. Tell them, do not mess with the Matrix at all. You've put out just garbage on the Terminator. But I said the Matrix is going to catch you. You're going to get caught and busted by the people. Matrix is just too deep to lie. Too deep to lie.
Hmm.
It is. I'm telling you. And because of watching the movie, but mostly listening to you, the first one, listening to you, our first conversation. What I tell people now, and I'm telling you, what I tell people is I'm unplugged from the matrix. Just when they plugged, Neo out, I'm unplugged from the matrix. So I find myself, I'm not. It's almost I'm in the world, but I'm not of the world. So I can see a scam coming now. So I just, Sophia, I just want to thank you for all that you're doing, and you continue to persevere. You still living and you still breathing, and you know what to do, because it's just I'm truly amazed by you, truly amazed. And thank you for picking up the phone and taking my phone call. And I remember, you were like, call me, when we first met, and you had a little course with me, and I'm like, oh my God. I can't go to sleep. I don't think I slept for 72 hours, lady, because you no, I'm serious. You downloaded so much information into me that I couldn't sleep. I was so hyper, and it's just so good to see that there's other people like me out there. You're feeding us, and it's good to see like-minded people. You're feeding yourself, you're, eating the right foods, doing what you need to do, and you're helping people with their bodies and shapes and things like that, because you have to edify. You don't just hear the information, you also make sure you're eating and you're treating your body the right way as well.
Oh, yes. Yes, my husband James was saying, did I get a spray tan on my skin because it's glowing? And he doesn't know it's just the heated water that makes the skin just glow and just beautiful. A lot of people don't realize that's that same heated water that's inside the womb of the mother when she's having that baby, and the baby come out and his skin is just glowing and beautiful and healthy. It's just the heated water. It's amazing.
Mm,
And it's you unless you buy the water, it's free. All of God's information is
it's
this free information that can heal you, uh, and it can protect you spiritually. And I have those keys to doing that. And all people have to do is listen and obey and follow my instructions. And ginger is the most incredible, getting the roots and boiling it. It gets rid of all the inflammation out of the body. It gets rid of all the mucus, because mucus is inflammation. And it gets rid of all mucus is what makes you sick.
Mm-hmm.
It's what kills people, and they don't realize that because they don't tell you.
Right.
Mucus is like a virus. It is a virus,
Mm-hmm. I
and
mean, look,
that's
y'all know she telling the truth because I'm telling you, I'm one of her unofficial mentees. I'm hinting about that. I'm hinting, but it's true. I'm Jamaican and Cuban, and so we know all those holistic stuff. Ginger is very good. It helps inflammation, and people don't understand. Cancer is a form of inflammation. Heart attack, high
yes.
blood pressure is a form of inflammation. So, that's where it starts from. Also, the gut is where everything starts.
Wow.
So, you I could look. It's at the point where when you see someone telling a story back in the day and the kids
Oh
are
man.
sitting by their feet, that's how I feel. Well, Skip, Sophia, oh, I think she was having Wi-Fi issues
She had
again.
Wi-Fi problems
Yeah,
again.
yeah, because I think
She'll be
she's in
back.
that place. I see that she's like in a place. But I want to thank her, bring her back on.
Back. It was
Yeah,
my phone rang and just
that's what
knocked
happened.
me
Yeah,
off.
that's what. Yeah, when you do it on your
Yeah.
phone. Well, I'm not going to keep you because I know you have a lot of eager students, reaching out to you, and I'm one of them. Hint, hint, skip. You see how many times I keep saying mentee, right? That I want to be her mentee. You see how many times I keep saying that? You my witness now.
I'm a
So
witness.
I'm going to do what I need to do because my skin glowing, but I need it to glow even more with her tutelage, okay?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and it definitely will be glowing. I
Because
mean,
I want to
definitely
be
will be
90 and
glowing.
looking like this,
Yeah.
okay?
Oh yeah. The water will do it.
Yes.
Oh,
And you
you look
glowing too,
good. You
Skip?
the water. Yeah, he's taking the water. He's
Oh
taking that
yeah.
water and he's doing the garlic water. And I hope he does the ginger
Garlic and the ginger.
water
I'm going to do the
because
ginger as soon as we get off of here.
oh yeah,
Look,
because that
every time I
I'm
ginger
go to
doing
is
that right away.
every Friday when I go, Saturday when I go to the farmer's market, there's a lady, she grows ginger. So I always get bulks of ginger and then I smash it up, put it in water and drink it. So now, and I do it on the weekends. Now I'm going to be doing it tonight because I said I'm going to go listening to her. I got my coconut water, which is 100% coconut water. This one has turmeric and no, I'm not putting it on me. They're not sponsoring me. We're not putting it on there. They're not sponsoring me.
There
To
you
leave
go.
that out. To leave that out. But it's easier that way because normally we go at the farmers market. My husband, he's from Trinidad, and he knows how to cut the coconut, get the water out, and we
Oh
squeeze
yeah.
lime in it and all that kind of stuff and drink it. So, Sophia, I just want to say it's just been a pleasure. Skip, it's been a
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Welcome to the
Yes.
tribe, Skip. Welcome to the tribe. So I again, I will be calling you, and I thank you too for carrying on the great work. Sophia, again, thank you for opening up my pineal gland. Thank you for, just embracing me and not just like, no, I want to be bothered. I don't want to be, you are just so, you're such a good woman. You're such a
Thank
great
you.
woman with people.
Appreciate
You know what
that.
I'm saying? So I just want you to know that you're a giving woman because I've seen you and I've been lurking around some stuff that you've been doing that you don't know that I've been watching. And just the universe is definitely blessing you and will continue to bless you. So, without further ado, I want to thank everyone for tuning into the Women Are Worthy Network. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment. The Women Are Worthy. Share, please share, because we have to, just like the blue pill and the red pill, make this is our pill opening up people because we have to start unplugging more people. They have to come out of the matrix and they have to start thinking for themselves. Just because the news or the media gives you information, still, for the love of God, do your own research. Do your own research. This woman she knows what she's talking about. She's legit. I'm telling you, she's legit. Okay, because if she wasn't, they would be shutting her down. She would be caught up in lawsuits. She'd be God knows where. But as Skip said earlier, they can't tell her to stop saying it. They've never refuted or called her a liar or speaking untruth. So again, please support whatever she's doing because we need this woman. We need her. So we want everyone to have a good day and a good night. And until then, see you tomorrow. Don't forget to sanitize, social distancing, and all that. Bye, Skip.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Sophie.
Thank you.